the body goes one way, the body, arms catapult themselves, lag behind and thrust off our body like so. And the hands work kind of down towards the bar, pull the target. Hi everyone, Alistair Davies here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video forms part of the complete swing guide series, so make sure you check out the rest of the videos in this series. Today's video is focusing on the transition, the kind of start of the downswing, and we're hopefully going to give you all the information here that's going to help improve you and your golf and lower your scores. It's a bit of a big area, the transition, but we're going to cover the concepts, the details and the positions I'd like to see the club travel in. And also, as I said in the other videos, we've covered every other element also. So there's some videos still to follow this video, so keep your eye out for those also, but I hope you're enjoying this series so far. If you are a new time viewer, please consider following me or subscribing. I post videos every week on a variety of subjects that are all going to help you in your golf and lower your scores. So keep watching to learn more about the transition. So the transition in the golf swing, this is the area of the golf swing where we change from the backswing to the downswing. And what happens is this actually starts about 0.01 seconds before we finish the backswing. So it's quite a complex area and there's lots of moving parts and people feel things with different areas of their body, and there's no problem with that whatsoever. You have to own your own feels and do what you need to do to produce the swing you need to produce. So I often talk about people, when we're talking about start the downswing, I often recommend people throw things, because when we look to throw things, instinctively we move our body in a certain way. And what I want them to do is use their instincts then to feel what part of the body is controlling that. Are they pushing with the right side, pulling with the left side? Are they initiating with the lower half, the mid body, or the shoulders, or the arms, or the club? And it'll give them an idea of what they would do instinctively to throw something a long way down that target area, or down that fairway area in this case. So that's essentially what we're talking about, the transition. Again, we're going to assume we have a perfect backswing position. So what happens in this transition area? What happens? Well, basically, as the arms are just finishing the backswing and the torso, they should be finishing at the same time, ideally, if we follow the complete guide that I'd want to see, knowing that in the perfect world, this would only happen with a few golfers, or certainly a minority of golfers in terms of category. So we'd want this to finish at the same time. What should happen is the lower half should start to initiate the downswing first. And what happens is the hips, knee and feet are all kind of moving a little bit in tandem, moving in a lateral way towards target. As you'll see here, there's kind of what I would call a lateral bump. As I'm starting to move laterally, there's also some rotation. There's rotation in the thighs, there's rotation in the feet, the ankles. And the knees are certainly starting to move on a more left directional position. So this would be a right directional position, this is a left directional position. That's the ideal world. We want to see that those knees move left of our ball to target line, this blue stick as I got on the ground here, and move laterally as I do that. The right leg's going to increase in flex, the left leg's going to decrease in flex. The left hip will go from being lower to level to starting to go higher. So depending on what phase of this we're going on, this is the journey of the hips and the knees and the feet. The feet, if we look at them, the left foot is going to supinate and the right foot's going to pronate, and you get a little bit of air in these toes, which I've talked about in a few of my other videos in the past. This helps the dynamics and the linear movement of the body and creates the most powerful position to get our body out of the way to allow our arms to go down the target line. In terms of our upper body, what should happen ideally is the right shoulder would work up and back. The club moves up, back and around like so. The wrist works into a more pronated state here, so the thumb moves back towards my golf bag. The arm moves into this pronated state here, all at the same kind of time. I call them like little lags. So as the body goes one way, the body, arms catapult themselves, lag behind and thrust off our body like so. And the hands work kind of down towards this ball to target line with that rotation to set the shaft behind us in an ideal world. Now, if we were a slicer, the shaft would be working much more in this fashion, and if we're a puller of the ball, similarly. So the best players in the world, not everyone, would see this kind of movement. And the firing pattern is definitely lower half, torso, arms, then club. That's what initiates the swing in an ideal world from 3D data and also from what we see with video. So as I said to you, there's a lot of information there. How can we make this playable? So for me, as I said to you earlier, we either want to feel, top of the swing, that we're moving our lower half first, or we feel our right shoulder moves up, back and down, or we might even feel a club head does this. It doesn't matter what thought you use, as long as it gives us the right outcome for you. I tend to find some players that have a shorter swing will tend to be better thinking about the shoulders. People with a longer swing be better off thinking about the legs. Personally, I quite like to feel sometimes I'm pushing with my right thigh. My right thigh pushes, my right knee works in towards the golf ball. This flex increases. If it increases too much, I'm likely to go onto my backside, my back foot. So it's just pushing off that ground. So we're kind of getting the tilt lowering as the right knee flex increases, and then we start to work up towards impact, which we're going to cover in the next video, which would be pre-impact, the last bit of the downswing. So as I said, lots of information there. So really go out and try and discover your own feels, what works for you in order to produce a nice shot and a nice golf swing. And I always say to people quite often, feed what you need. So if the ball flight is too cutty and pulley, then you need to feed more of this shallowing element. So right side bending, right shoulder working behind us a little bit more. Great. If you're the kind of guy that has too much push and hook, you're probably going to have to feel more left side bending and let the club come out a little bit more and let the arms come out in front of you a little bit more. Good players tend to need more of that. Average golfers tend to need more of the right side bend. It's a bit of a generalization, but that's what I'd seen over 22 years of coaching. Let's go ahead and try and hit one down here. And just try and feel I'm going to get that kind of right side bend, that shallowing element here in the top of the backswing. A slight push shot there, but I'm really trying there to shallow that club because I have a tendency to get a little bit steep in that transition. So I don't want to demonstrate that for you guys. That's not what I want you to see. If I was trying to demonstrate a little fader, that'd be fine. So there we have it. This is the transition part of the full swing series or full swing guide. As I said to you in the introduction, make sure you check out the rest of the videos in the series. Please post some comments. Tell me if you like this kind of format where we're covering lots of things, you know, in a series where we're covering them in more detail, perhaps and more conceptually. Let me know how that fits with you. Also, any requests for any videos, post them down below. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and share the video. It really helps my channel. I really appreciate if you could do that. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Hit my logo down this bottom corner here. Join me in my journey and let's lower your scores. Lastly, thanks for watching and see you again here soon.